The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and understanding. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. We are not what we know, but what we are willing to learn. Let me say that again. We are not what we know, but what we are willing to learn. Good people are good because they've come to wisdom through failure. Hello everyone, welcome back to Ifechi family. Today is part 4 of this series on wisdom. In my next video, I'm going to conclude this series on wisdom. The Bible verse I want us to use today is in James 1 verse 5. It says, "If any one of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God." First of all, you have to identify that you are lacking in wisdom and be prepared to ask God. That is exactly what James is saying here. If any one of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God. Because if you don't realize that you lack wisdom, how can you ask? Some of us are so full of ourselves. We think that we know it all. After all, I'm well educated. I can speak good English. I have a top job. I have people under me. That does not mean that you have wisdom. So this series that I've titled Pray for Wisdom, today is part 4. And the next one, I'm going to conclude this series. Here is a time-tested and proven formula for obtaining wisdom. 1, acknowledge. See? Acknowledge that you need it. Just what I just said. You have to first of all acknowledge that you need it. The doorstep of the temple of wisdom is a knowledge of your own ignorance. You didn't hear this one very well. The doorstep to the temple of wisdom is a knowledge of your own ignorance. So, as I said, the first thing is to acknowledge that you need it. Number 2, go to the right source. That's number 2. The Lord gives wisdom, as recorded in Proverbs 2 verse 6. He alone can give you true wisdom because he alone has true wisdom. No other person. No matter how much we think that we are wise, God alone can give us wisdom. We have to ask for it. We have to acknowledge that we need it. Indeed, God's wisdom makes our own look foolishness. Yes. Paul says, the foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom. The foolishness of God is wiser than human wisdom. That's in 1 Corinthians 1:25. But come to think about it, obviously we know that God is not foolish, but if you understand what he's saying there, if God were capable of a stupid or silly thought that like some of us we do as human beings have, which he's not, it will still be wiser than the wisest thought we could ever conceive. The third point, ask for it. Remember, the first one is to acknowledge that you need it. The second one is to go to the right source. And the third one is to ask for it. God doesn't hoard his wisdom. He is ready to give it away freely. You just have to acknowledge that you need it. You have to go to the right source. You have to ask for it. Solomon says, if you call out for insight, cry aloud for understanding, look for it as for silver, and search for it as for hidden treasure. Then you will understand the fear of the Lord and find the knowledge of God. For the Lord gives wisdom, from his mouth knowledge and understanding. That is recorded in Proverbs 2:3-6. As I said before, if you have not had chance to read the book of Proverbs, please make it a point of duty to read the book of Proverbs. If you have children, encourage them to read the book, a whole book of Proverbs. Is from chapter 1 to 31. You will be happy that you did. In James 1:5, he writes, if any of you need wisdom, you should ask for it, and it will be given to you. God is generous and won't correct you or attack you for asking. But when you ask for something, you must have faith and not doubt. Anyone who doubts is like an ocean wave tossed around in a storm. That's recorded in the Bible. If you are that kind of person, you can't make up your mind, and you surely can't be trusted. And that is not good. There are a lot of us like that we cannot be trusted. Remember the 3 points today. 1, acknowledge that you need it, that you need wisdom. 2, go to the right source, which is our Savior, Jesus Christ, our God. Number 3, ask for it. Don't expect God to give you anything at all if you don't ask. I know he knows our needs. He knows what we want. But sometimes he also wants us to ask, to actually know. When we are asking for something, that means that you're ready. You really want to have that thing, and you will use it wisely. So, this series of we have talked about wisdom. We have used various Bible verses. I'm going to put this series together. When I do the next one, the last one, in a couple of days' time, we'll wrap it up, and I'll put it as a playlist so you can go back and see various angles that we have covered on this series on wisdom. Wisdom cannot be overemphasized. So, today, pray for wisdom, and you will be glad that you did. Thank you everyone for listening. See you in my final one in a couple of days' time. Goodbye and God bless.